is Atreyo, and today I'll be speaking on a topic which is actually very close to my heart, reimagining legal systems. Now, this word also reimagination, right? Like, when we think of this word, what does it really mean? Like, we think of it that, okay, सबको पता है कि हाँ हमारा legal system काफी बेकार है, जैसे cases सालों पर it just keeps going on. Nobody really gets justice. You always see and it's essentially become like this great script, right, for Bollywood movies and OTT serials and all of that. But what really is the problem? Because business seems to be flourishing. People who need the legal system to work, it's fairly working decently for them. You never really hear Mukesh Ambani coming to the street and being like, "यार, मेरे rights तो कोई सुन ही नहीं रहे, मतलब मेरे legal entitlements कहाँ गए?" So, is the legal system broken, or is the legal system broken for a very specific demographic who is unable to access it? And my hunch is the latter. That out of 90%, 100% of the people who have legal problems, just about 9 out of 10 people don't really go and approach courts. So even this problem that we talk about, it's essentially just that 1% out of 10 people who are going to court. And then we come back to the word that, okay, we want to reimagine this system. Now, some of you might know that the present Chief Justice of India, Justice Chandrachud, he's in the news often for fairly decent reasons, right? He's assumed to be like this very good judge who gives fairly good judgments, who really upholds values of justice and liberty. There's another judge, if you're familiar, a couple of years back when Delhi, the riots were happening in Delhi, he had called the Attorney General and he had sort of told him on a weekend that why is the Delhi police not registering FIRs? So we hear about judges like this often. But ultimately they are one or two people in a huge system which is actually designed to cater to billions of Indians, right? Then think of it, why do you have a system in the first place? It's supposed to solve a problem. It's supposed to solve my problem, it's supposed to solve your problem, it's supposed to solve anybody who's got a dispute. Today when we make a payment, a simple payment, let's say we buy दूध खरीदना है. We have the option to pay by cash, we have the option to pay by phone, we have the option to pay by credit. We have the option to not pay at all and also get some money back from them. Like there are offers like that nowadays, right? But when it comes to the legal system, somebody says कि अच्छा पता नहीं, somebody gave me money, but ये तो check bounce हो गया, अब क्या करें? मतलब चाहिए दे देना, because court में जाएंगे तो like we will end up spending a lot more money. So when we think of reimagination, we need to think not like, okay, there is this one person there who can redesign the system and change everything that is wrong with it. But we need to break it down into very, very small components. And if you see other sectors in India today, if you see health, if you see finance, there's always some tech to it, right? You have health tech, fintech, biotech. Nobody's ever heard of legal tech because that doesn't exist. Nobody really has taken efforts to innovate for the legal system. And essentially, even the work that's happening in innovation, if you see the two sides over here, the first on the left-hand side is a very common document, and it had become in 2019 when the CAA protests were happening, this document was read aloud everywhere, and it essentially is the preamble of our constitution. Now, when we think of the legal system, a lot of times our imagination is actually stuck there. That ये law hai, and if we are trying to get something addressed, we have to always stay within the confines of the law. Which means that there is a lawyer involved, there is a judge involved, there is you here, the judge sitting above you, and you go and you say, "My lord, this has happened, please help me." But we need to think of legal systems as just any other system where we can get people like you and me to come and really engage with it. Because ultimately it's a system designed to sort of better our lives. But our voices are never really found there. On the other hand, on the right hand side, these are two migrant workers who are from, I believe from Mizoram. They had a claim against some unpaid wages, and it was impossible for them to travel all the way and file an appeal ultimately, in a court which is very, very far from Mizoram. So this is an example where, because of an online dispute portal, their case was, and this is not a victory sign, this is saying that we are owed 2 lakh rupees each. And the same thing would not have been possible today if somebody back in 2017, actually a batchmate of mine, had not come up with the online dispute resolution platform. He was just a law student like me, bunking classes, just feeling that, okay, I don't want to study, तो अब क्या करें, मतलब कुछ करते क्योंकि CV में तो दिखाना है. Absolutely no support from anywhere else. But he comes and he makes an online system where people like you and I can go, register grievances, and that the whole process can happen online, including telling somebody, hey, आपके साथ मेरा कोई problem है, this has happened, you have not paid me money, etc., etc. Now, if this had to happen in a physical city, think of it even in Hyderabad, right? Today, if you have a case here and you want to ultimately appeal, you will have to leave Hyderabad and go all the way to Delhi, go to Supreme Court, and it's a hassle, right? Why can't we simplify this? Why can't we do something like this instead of always just staying within the fold of law? So that's essentially what the organization that I work with, Agami, that's what we work towards. The thing is that we want to celebrate innovation in the legal system. We want to make the legal system more accessible to people like you and me who are coming themselves and innovating for the system. It should not be that tomorrow some amazing judge will come and that judge will usher a set of reforms. Then after that some new judge will come who will say that these reforms don't work, too bad, now we'll go back to the previous regime. No, it has to be citizens like you and I who are actually engaging with the system to come and do some of this work. And at Agami, our motto is essentially ideas that serve justice. We try to bring some of these ideas in the forefront. Before I start with what I do at Agami, I'll just maybe talk about some of the initiatives that we have. So the one over there, that's called the ODR initiative. It stands for Online Dispute Resolution. So I just gave that example before this. Essentially, having a system जहाँ पे like लोग आके can solve disputes through an online portal. You don't have to go to court. You remove the middle person completely. In fact, you even remove lawyers. And I'm saying this as a lawyer. Like so many disputes would just be easy if you just didn't have lawyers in the middle. Then we have something. If you see all of these people developing nature, we have something called the Agami Prize, which essentially tries to celebrate the kind of work that is happening in this ecosystem. We try to find out, okay, who are the people who are working, let's say, in Assam, who are the people who are working in Kanyakumari, like far off, all over India, and we try to bring, we try to sort of put light on their work. We have the Agami Shala. Agami Shala is for those people who are working for the justice system, but they are there, but they need a little bit more push to sort of think a little bit differently, and we actually get them, we take them to like a location and we conduct sort of sessions with them. And we have Pukar. And we have my mission, which is called the OpenNyAi mission. So I'll talk about both of them shortly. But before I talk, I just wanted to give an example of what the Pukar initiative is doing. So all of us must know about checks now. Like at some point or the other, you have maybe in some TV show or some movie, किसी का पूरा property पैसा सब कुछ छीन लिया because उसने check में किसी का sign forge करके दिया coordinate. Check bouncing disputes are one of the biggest disputes in our country. It is blocked. I think of it. अगर एक पाइप है, वो पाइप blocked है, उससे पानी नहीं निकल रहा है, the reason is check bounce. And that's essentially a big reason why our judicial system is stuck. What this initiative tries to do, किसी भी dispute में there are multiple stages. एक होता है trial की hearing, एक होता है filing, arbitration summons, bail, the actual hearing before the judge, or जब judge gives the judgment. Now, what this initiative tries to do, it takes these small parts of the whole life cycle of a dispute and tries to better it. So, for example, जहाँ पे अगर आपको किसी ने check दिया है, वो check bounce किया है, you are not getting the money that you need. The law says before you approach the court, आपको एक notice भेजना पड़ेगा, asking for payment, right? Lot of people, the common language in our country for any system is predominantly English. after you move on from the Munsif courts, you go to a sessions court, a high court, the Supreme Court, they will tell you, no, please speak in any language you're comfortable with. But we know that it's essentially English which goes, right? Because of which a lot of people, a lot of small claims, somebody was a claim of, let's say, just 10,000 rupees. They are not always able to write that legal notice in English language. But if you don't write that notice, then you cannot go to the next stage. So the first thing in this design is that you automate the legal notice completely. So if I have a dispute, I just click a button. I just enter that, okay, I have 10,000 rupees due. I was supposed to be paid on so and so day. And then the system is giving me the whole thing written in exactly legal language that I need, and I send it. Again, I can send it through WhatsApp, I can send it to email to the person who has defaulted my money. So at every stage, the imagination is that it has to be simplified. The process cannot be a punishment. If I have lost money, I should not lose more money and more trouble and get into more trouble simply because the process itself is so complex to engage with. With that, I'll just come to the work that I do. I work on a mission called OpenNyAi. OpenNyAi essentially, think of it in this way, right? We all know that today artificial intelligence is here. We might have heard about something like ChatGPT. We might hear people, मुझे हिंदी में एक poem लिखना है. And for me, my native language is Bengali, but so in school I had taken Hindi as second language because of some stupid assumption that the papers don't leave the city, the state, so you get less marks in Bengali. So my grandmother had told me, said, no, don't take Bengali. So I still find it difficult to actually read Bengali, but I speak fluently. With AI, I can actually just feed something in English or in Hindi or in any other language and get it translated into Bengali or any other language that I want, right? And this is something that we mostly know about. So AI is here, whether we like it or not. AI is here, and it's again few people who are building some of these technologies. It's few people who have access to build some of these technologies. So at the OpenNyAi mission, essentially what we are trying to do is actually understanding that how can we get more people engaging with the system where they can come and actually build alongside with the people who are actually building some of these AI technologies. This is our team. That's me smiling over there. But yeah, so at OpenNyAi we do three things. Show the new idea. For example, ChatGPT was an amazing thing, right? When it came out, suddenly it became one of the most downloaded apps of all time. It beat a lot of records. The systems crashed because so many people were using it. What did it do? Essentially, it just showed that this is what you can actually do with this new technology. Similarly, at OpenNyAi, we have some technology that I'll just get into. But one of the things is that we show the community, hey, Aaj, this is possible. Today, agar you have some entitlement from the government, some scheme, let's say you're a young teenage girl who wants to study further and you don't know, let's say your parents can't afford it. There are schemes which give you scholarships, right? Like 10 lakhs. I know in West Bengal there's a scheme which gives you a 10 lakh scholarship. So for example, but a lot of people don't know about it. Now think if there is a chatbot where you just say, hey, मेरा नाम ये है, मेरा उम्र 18 साल का है, मुझे और पढ़ना है, can I get some entitlement from the state government? That is possible today using AI and using real-time conversation. Number two, build the community, essentially what I started with, that get more people involved into some of these technologies and build alongside us. And number three, which is called enable the doing, it is a lot of people, and I work very closely with a lot of people who have some fantastic ideas, some like amazing ways of doing things, but they don't have the resources because working with AI technologies is very, very expensive. It's very expensive. Like think of it like the internet some 30 years back. How many people had internet back then? I don't even know if, there was dial-up, but then I remember, for example, when let's say Jio came, right? Then everybody had internet. But before that, most people did not. Similarly, even right now, building some AI technologies, it's only very few companies and organizations can build it because it's prohibitively expensive. This is a little bit about our journey. I won't spend too much time on this. Okay, so one thing that we do at OpenNyAi is that we have law students and we have as a mission, there are many different law schools who are involved. So this slide that you see here, on the right hand side, it is an extract of a judgment. You don't have to read it, it's actually pretty boring. But on the, on the left hand side. On the right hand side, it is the same judgment which has been broken into multiple parts. So if you see the first thing in blue over there, it is an argument by one side. If you see the thing in purple, it is identifying कि इस case में actual मसला क्या है. What is the legal issue here? Is it a property dispute? Is it a criminal offense? Is it a civil offense? Is it a tax case, etc.? Similarly, multiple things are sort of broken down. Last when there is analysis, there is an argument by petitioner. Now today, when you are trying to build some AI technology, the most important thing is data. And an AI model has to understand how legal language is spoken. And we all know that legal language is very difficult to understand. It's in most judges will speak and give judgments in such a way that the common person just simply doesn't understand it. Which is why we actually built something with the help of students, which broke it down into these things, which can then be used for training further models. Similarly, this is a judgment. Any legal judgment will have multiple components. So, what are the sections in a certain judgment which is being used? What is the case about? Things like that. So today you have technology which can take the judgment and break it down into these different parts, which can then be used to build, multiple things. So I'll just show this video, but this video it talks about domestic violence. So in case anybody, I'm just giving like a trigger warning. In case somebody doesn't want to see it, please let me know that we can move ahead without it. We can just. Is it okay if I show it?
Yeah.
Okay.
मेरा पति कभी-कभी बहुत गुस्सा करता है और उसी गुस्सा में मुझे मारता है। मैं उसे जेल नहीं भेजना चाहती हूँ, पर उसे थोड़ा डराने के लिए मैं कुछ कर सकती हूँ। प्रदान की गई जानकारी के आधार पर ऐसा लगता है कि आप घरेलू हिंसा का अनुभव कर रहे हैं। आपको घरेलू हिंसा से महिलाओं की सुरक्षा अधिनियम 2005 के तहत घरेलू हिंसा के खिलाफ सुरक्षा और सहायता का दावा करने का अधिकार है। Jagrat aims to help a person in such a situation by providing access to reliable legal information quickly and easily. It does so by using partially speech models, which are used to convert user queries from Indian language to English. It also uses OpenNyAi's GPT model to reason on authoritative documents like laws, rules, FAQs to generate an answer. They act as a knowledge boundary for Jagrat and make sure that it provides accurate information. For this chatbot, the authoritative documents were prepared by the team from iProBot and Shalini. Further, the response generated by the GPT model is converted back into the original Indian language and sent back to the user as a text and voice message. The bot also provides up-to-date information specific to a user's situation. Here are a few examples. मैं अपने हस्बैंड से अलग रहती हूँ, क्या फिर भी मैं कंप्लेंट फाइल कर सकती हूँ? हाँ, भले ही आप अपने पति से अलग हो गई हो, फिर भी आप घरेलू हिंसा से महिलाओं की सुरक्षा अधिनियम BWDB अधिनियम के तहत शिकायत दर्ज कर सकती हैं। BWDB अधिनियम का दायरा समय और स्थान से सीमित नहीं है।
Jagrit has the capacity to understand the user even if they speak in both Hindi and English in the same question.
Yes, a transgender person who identifies themselves as a woman should be able to file a domestic violence complaint, but it ultimately depends on the discretion of the court. The Bombay High Court recently ruled that a transgender woman who has undergone sex reassignment surgery can be a woman under the PWPV Act and has the right to apply for interim maintenance in a domestic violence case.
Jagrit is essentially based on Jugalbandi, an open source platform built by AI for Bharat and OpenNyAi, and it can be extended to IVR systems and can have multiple use cases such as property disputes, POXO Act cases, labor right cases, etc. Jagrit could also be modified to enable citizens to take action, such as applying and registering for legal aid via voice prompts on a chatbot instead of filling long forms. क्या आप मेरी ये फॉर्म भरने में मदद कर सकते हैं?
हाँ, मैं आपकी मदद कर सकता हूँ। आपका नाम क्या है?
मेरा नाम मीरा है।
आप कौन से तालुक से बोल रहे हो?
मैं कोलम तालुक से हूँ।
आपका मोबाइल नंबर क्या है?
मेरा नंबर 95014123 है।
यहाँ आपका भरा हुआ कानूनी सहायता फॉर्म है।
If you want to try Jagrit yourself, scan here.
So, this is possible today. This is, think of it, right? Like all, essentially, forget the technology, OpenNyAi, that's fine, let that be. But ultimately, what is this? Everybody has a mobile phone. A lot of times we face problems, but we don't want to send somebody to jail. But we also don't want ourselves to be harmed, right? But the legal system is all or nothing, and most of the times it's nothing. Sometimes the all is also worse, right? But today something like this is actually possible. And really, what is this? It's a phone where you're either writing in any language that you're comfortable with, or you're speaking in any language that you're comfortable with. You're interacting with something on the other side. That thing is giving you back information. The difference is that iske pehle we have all interacted with, I think, chatbots and all of that, right? But the difference here is the interaction जो वापस आ रहा है, ऐसा लगता है कि सच में कोई इंसान हमसे बात कर रहा है. Because the first thing that Jagrit, and I have tested Jagrit, so I know. So I told Jagrit in Bengali, and the response, and I'll just say it in Bengali only, that Jagrit said that তোমাকে পুলিশের কাছে যেতে হবে না, কিন্তু তুমি তোমার যেখানে তুমি থাকো দেখো যে ওখানে কোনো এনজিও আছে কিনা যাদের সাথে তুমি সম্পর্ক করতে পারো আর তুমি ওদেরকে বলো যে তোমার সাথে এটা হয়েছে. Essentially meaning, because I had said that I don't want to go to the police, and do I still have a claim? The bot replies that you don't have to go to the police, and that's fine. But you go to some NGO, you go to somebody, get some help. Don't stay in that house. So my point is that today when we think about reimagination of the legal system, why aren't we thinking of tools like this which can not just do this for domestic violence, for any and everything? One of the most common cases that people have, electricity gets cut randomly by CRC, right? You don't pay your bill for some days, they'll come and they'll chop it off. They can't do that. In a lot of cases, they can't do that. Different states have different laws, but by and large, that's a principle of law. Eviction, we often hear, right? Houses are bulldozed, middle of the night, cranes to the ground. You can't do that. You have to give a legal notice before you demolish somebody's house, irrespective if that's quote-unquote an illegal house, right? But the thing is, a lot of times people are simply not aware that okay, ये मेरा हक है. It's not even कि क्या मुझे ये मिल सकता है, मुझे प्लीज थोड़ा सा दान दे दो, नहीं, it's a question कि ये मेरा हक है. And this, the word hak, it conveys a sense of power, right? The thing is, when you interact with the legal system, you don't feel powerful. Like, you feel very small, you feel timid, because the system is always pushing you down. You go to this huge building, people are very black and white, there is a judge, there is a lawyer, there are so much paper. You just don't understand that, अच्छा, let छोड़ दो, please, जाना ही नहीं मुझे, मुझे पढ़ना ही नहीं इसके अंदर. But why is it like that? Why can't, ultimately it's a system for our benefit? No, it's a system which works to serve us. So I just wanted to give the chart with example. I think I can just skip that. So this is a screenshot from ChatGPT. I have asked it what is Section 4 of the Assam Land and Revenue Regulation 1886. In 2020 or maybe 2021, I don't exactly remember, but the Assam state government raised villages just saying this is illegal, and the persons residing in these houses have done so illegally, etc., etc. And they did it under this act, the Assam Land and Revenue Regulation Act. As per the act, you're supposed to get a legal notice, you're supposed to get time to present your case. है illegal या नहीं है illegal, जो भी है, but आपका ये हक है कि आप जाके ये बात बोलो. None of that was done. Now, ChatGPT's response is that I'm sorry, etc., etc. Basically, मेरे पास information नहीं है. Think of a system which can, in India, which can in all the different state laws. Like, think of Hyderabad, the state of Telangana, right? All the laws that are there, if that could be put in one system. Today you have any query, you have it's a check bounce, electricity, पानी नहीं आ रहा है आपके घर में, कुछ भी हो. If you can just ask that, not even in a very formal language, not even in the language that I am speaking, just casually, कि आप किसी दोस्त के साथ बात कर रहे हो, यार घर में पानी नहीं आ रहा है, क्या क्या जा सकता है, and then you actually get responses. Today we are actually working to build something like that. It's called Alap. Alap in musical terms essentially just means जैसे improvisation, कि आप कुछ गाना गा रहे हो तो उसके बाद you are just improvising on that. But the idea behind Alap is that it can actually act as an assistant for different legal tasks. And legal tasks, when we think of legal tasks, it's not just that you go to court and you argue. Legal tasks can even be, today, if you're going to a bank, somebody's giving, forget bank, a better example, happened to me personally. My uncle was in the hospital a couple of weeks back. He was, on his last legs. He had an incurable cancer, but he had a decent amount of Medicaid. The hospital said that we won't give it to you. Why? Because some 40 years back, he was a smoker. The original insurance policy didn't have any clause with respect to smoking. But if you've seen health insurance, the way it works is that after a certain period, they send you these addendums, which doesn't mean a new contract, but आपको बार-बार एक बार वो करना पड़ता है. So I'll just finish this. I'm almost done. So essentially, imagine he passed away at the age of I think 75. This was a insurance contract I think many years back, and they did give him some almost close to some 10-12 lakhs. The thing is that my aunt and my uncle, they had missed that one fine print in some 80-page document saying that if you want, it's super vague. Okay, now you think of a system where you are saying that this is a document. आप इस डॉक्यूमेंट को पढ़ो, मुझे बताओ इसमें मेरा क्या रिस्क आ रहा है. बस सिंपल लाइक दैट. क्या if I default on my loan, will my interest suddenly become from 8% to 12% and 16% in the next quarter? Like that. Questions which actually matter. It doesn't matter to you if you can go to court, right? Because a lot of times you don't even reach that stage, right? So things like that can be possible, is actually possible, and then that's something that we are trying to build that. So this is how Alap looks right now. Just wanted to, before I finish, just talk about some other organizations who are doing great work. So Legality, for example, allows you to e-sign documents. Spot Draft allows you to create contracts without taking the help of a lawyer. Hakdarshak allows you to understand what are legal entitlements and other. In the scholarship example that I took, you can actually use Hakdarshak to find out what are the entitlements that the government has with respect to affordable housing and other things like that. So these are some of the things, and Sama is so the first picture of those people saying two. Sama is something which was one of the first online dispute resolution platforms created in India, which actually works on the principle of something called mediation, where the idea is not for example, the tagline is "Suljhao magar pyar se." The point is that even when you have a dispute, you don't have to be always so aggressive. It can even be, "Acha, this is my problem, this is your stance. Can we reach a middle ground? Can there be some compromise?" So something like Sama is allowing that. These are the cases which have been resolved through ODR. Before I finish, I will just take a minute and talk about this last thing, which is a major challenge that we are facing, and also invitation to all of you, if you have any suggestions how to go about it. Data. Any system, any new technology, there's this saying, right? Data is the new oil. Amazon and all collect user data, and it's there. People say that, right? But the thing is, for building legal AI models or building any kind of technology, which is meant to help somebody, you need a lot of data. Today, this data is there. Judgments, copies of FIRs. And okay, let's take an example. Why is data important, right? Today, why is FIR data important? Think of it just this way. If an FIR is registered against you, let's say I'm building out a model. If I can take 20,000 FIRs on, let's say, just on theft, for example, then the model that I'm training will know that, okay, 20,000 FIRs on theft, there is a pattern, and in these situations, an offense is considered to be theft by a police person. On the 20,001, my model will be able to tell you these are possible defenses that you can take. These are possible things which were not considered in the FIR. Your arrest was wrongful, things like that. But today, a lot of this data is simply not available publicly. It's either in maybe some high court library, or it's either in, behind very expensive paywalls in the internet, things like that. But there are some people who have done collecting this data as an act of public service. So for example, Daksh has prepared, they have mapped how different cases look like, and there is the coach data set which tells you what is the background of different high court judges, what is their caste, what is their gender, what is the state that they have come from. To actually map out that today, if you read the constitution, and I have read the constitution second year of law school, so it's been a while, but I think there are some. To be a judge of the High Court, you have to be a certain age, you have to be a citizen of India, you have to have, I think, 10 years of legal standing and some more, one or two things. But we don't talk about what is their caste. Are only Brahmin men becoming judges? Do we have enough women in the judiciary? Do we have representations across the country? Do we have enough judges from the Northeast? Do we have enough judges from the states which are not, not Maharashtra, not Delhi? That's the kind of data set which Coach has prepared, and it's an invaluable data set for anybody who's trying to build something more. Okay, I think I'm done with time. So if you have any questions, if you want to just reach out, please feel free to write to me. That's my email address. That's all. Thank you so much for your time.